United States Army. Now, the downside about the Buffalo Soldiers is that even though the Black Seminoles had been removed from Florida by force, the Buffalo Soldiers helped the U.S. Army remove Native Americans from the West. So it's kind of a complicated end of the story, but that's who the Buffalo Soldiers were, and we still have them in the U.S. Army today.
And is it true, it's my understanding that one of the reasons that they were used so widely by the Army is because they were able to interpret. Is that right?
Well, no, not for no. They weren't interpreters in the West.
Okay.
They were fighters. They hunted meat and they served the soldiers in different ways. In some instances, it wasn't necessarily fighting, but no, that was the role that the Black Seminoles played in Florida.
So the Seminole Wars 1 and 2.
And 3, yes.
And 3.
But talking about the Buffalo Soldiers is at the end of the story. That's where they ended up in the final analysis out west and helping the Army round up the Plains Indians.
Okay, good. For our audience, can you share with us some of the Black Seminole leaders?
Well, hold on. I think what we need to do is talk about who they were.
Okay.
Where they came from. Okay. And then talk about who the leaders were and what happened out west. But let's begin with who were the Black Seminoles. Seminole Indians were not an original Native American tribe. When the U.S. was founded, there was no such thing as Seminole Indians. Various Indian tribes had been here for thousands of years, but not Seminoles. This is important. The Seminoles came along in the 1700s when white people started crowding them out of their ancestral lands. And some of these tribes started to move down into Florida to get away from being displaced by white settlers. But in 1835, the U.S. Congress, under the leadership of Andrew Jackson as president, passed the Indian Removal Act, which required all of the Native American tribes that were existing east of the Mississippi River be removed. That's the term they use, removed to the west, to reservations in the west.
Yeah, removed. Yeah.
Removed. Now, mind you, these were not savages running around killing people. For example, the Cherokees were a very subtle race. They had schools. Most of them were Christians. They paid their taxes. They were cooperative, productive citizens. But they had to be removed. And most of the Indians did, in fact, end up being removed to the west. Some of them said, no, we're not going. Hell no, we're not going to be forced to leave where we live and go out west. And these Indians started to move down into Florida. And they became known as Seminoles.